watching Canadian Muslim news on Muslim Network TV. From Toronto, Ontario, I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Today, a conversation about the legal aspects of Quebec's new French language law that's upsetting English and Cree language groups known as Bill 96. We'll talk to a Quebec lawyer. But first, some news headlines. Canada reports highest increase of inflation in 40 years. Government could lose money from Trans Mountain Pipeline. Health unit teams up with faith leaders to distribute Naloxone kits. And death toll from Afghanistan earthquake climbs. Now the details. Canada's inflation rate reaches the highest increase in nearly 40 years, scoring 7.7%. Statistics Canada says the high price of gasoline is a major factor in bringing the inflation rate up this high. In May alone, gas prices rose by 12% and are up 48% of what they were last year. Food prices are also on the uptick, with fats and oils marking the largest increase on record. Statistics Canada also says the rise in food and oil costs are due to several factors, including supply uncertainty, higher input costs, and tariffs related to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A new report finds the federal government could lose money from its investment in the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The Parliamentary Budget Officer, or PBO, released its analysis yesterday. The report found the pipeline's current net value is negative $600 million. This is $1.2 billion less than the PBO's estimate in December 2020. The report also found the project's completion date has been pushed to the third quarter of 2023. The Trans Mountain is Canada's only line transporting oil from Alberta to the west coast. It continues to be built despite opposition from environmental and some Indigenous groups. The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit is working with faith leaders and organizations to distribute opioid overdose antidote kits, known as Naloxone kits, to congregations. The interim medical officer of health announced the initiative Monday with a local bishop, rabbi, reverend, and imam. From this weekend onwards, the group will work together to get the kits into as many homes as possible. The health unit says their goal is to highlight the effect of substance abuse across cultural and faith groups. They also want to reach people who would be reluctant to pick up a Naloxone kit elsewhere. The death toll from Tuesday's 6.1 magnitude earthquake in Afghanistan continues to climb. A senior Taliban official told Anadolu Agency today that over 1,100 people are dead. He added that at least 1,600 people have been wounded and some 1,800 houses collapsed. The official says humanitarian aid from Pakistan, Qatar, and Iran has arrived in the country. The interim Taliban government announced yesterday an aid package of over $11 million for the victims. However, the country is cash-strapped after the exit of foreign forces last August and the fall of the US-backed Kabul administration. And that's it for the news. A new French language law in Quebec has upset English language and Cree groups as it has mandated the French language in several areas, including government, court, education, and businesses. To have a look at the legal aspects of this, we welcome to the show Mtre William Korbatly. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Alaikum salam. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Just a general question to get started. What impact is this Bill 96 having on non-Francophone community in Quebec?
Well, it seems that a pretty straight question, but again, the answer is a bit complicated because it's related also to historical events that happened all the time in Quebec, because that Quebec is a majority French speaking province within Canada and Northern America. So basically, Bill 96, it came as a continuity to Bill 101, or as we know it as the Charter of the French Language in Quebec, that was passed like in the late 70s at the time. And there has been a lot of challenges at the time, but now with this government, the Legault government, a nationalist government that is using is trying to reinforce French and the Quebec identity, etc., Quebec French identity. So they wanted to reinforce that law, and within these reinforcements, some of the amendments that I think we will go through in a while, affected really the whether justice, whether businesses, whether some services. For certain citizens that they don't speak English, French, I mean.
Yeah. Let's just do a couple, not too many, because I want to ask other questions as we go. But for example, something I was looking at, which seems to me very difficult, businesses now, signs and advertising must be in French, but business-to-business conversations between the business and a client has also to be in French. Did I misread that?
Well, yes. Basically, it used to apply on businesses like with more than 50 employees or 50 employees and plus. Now it applies for more than 24 employees. So yes, it's a bit vague. Also, like there are a lot of things that is not clarified yet. But yes, like businesses that have more than 24 employees, they have to have French massively in their communication, whether with the outside or inside or with anyone.
So this is going to be really hard for people who haven't learnt the language or who have just arrived. I believe immigrants are going to have a 6-month grace period, and after that they have to conduct all their dealings in French if they're interacting on this business or going to school or with the government. Do they really expect people to be able to become fluent in 6 months?
Well, for sure. This is what this is their intention, but eventually it's illogical and it's unrealistic. But again, we have to mention there is an exception. The government said that it's related to whenever the health or security is an issue, then this obligation doesn't apply. But yeah, I have to mention that it has been criticized all over Quebec, even by certain French people. For immigrants, I mean.
Canada is supposed to be officially a bilingual country, and so if someone in Vancouver walks into an office and a government office and says, "I want services in French," they have that right. Shouldn't it be the same? You walk into an office in Quebec and ask for the service in English?
Yes, exactly. But again, it's related to historical issues because in comparison between the English minority in Quebec, how they're treated. I'm talking about the logic of the government, and also about reality. Comparing to French minorities in the other provinces, like English-speaking people are way more protected than. Protected is not the exact word, but way more. Let's say have way more. Rights, let's say, or facilities to use their language, comparing to French people in other provinces.
Right.
So this is the issue. But yes, I agree with you. Theoretically, this is what should happen.
Now, we've heard in the media something called the notwithstanding clause. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah. Well, I'm laughing because it's a clause that was the compromise at the time when they wanted to repatriate the Constitution of Canada. So Pierre Elliott Trudeau at the time, in order to convince all the provinces to sign the Constitution, he added to the Constitution of at the time in 1982 the Section 33, which is the notwithstanding clause. Actually, it gives the provinces the right to suspend some freedoms or to limit them if they're within the if they are included in Section 2 and 7 to 15 for the Charter, the Canadian Charter of Rights. These we're talking about the basic freedoms like religion, language, judicial, gender, etc. So the normal freedoms.
So I've seen a lawyer quoted, Julius Gray, putting together a challenge. He said, we'll take it to the UN. He said, it's the most gratuitous use of power I've ever seen. Is that an extreme statement?
Mtre Gray, yes. He's actually he's used to as a human rights lawyer. He used to this kind of language eventually. Is it an abusive use of power? For sure, and it's not now with the Bill 96. It's also happened with Bill 21 concerning the banning of religious signs at the time. So yes, the government is using a certain clause, which is the notwithstanding clause, in an abusive way, because this clause eventually was used at the time to give the weak more strength. Now we're using it to give the strong more strength against the weak. So this is what Mtre Gray is actually criticizing, and I agree with him eventually in merits. But now, if we say the most like abusive use of power, well, I don't necessarily agree to this exactly. But yes, it is very abusive, and it's
seen
democracy actually.
I've seen the regulatory body that's going to protect the French language is going to have the right to come in and search computer documents. I mean, am I misreading? Like, do they even need a warrant? Like, even the police can't do that.
Exactly. And I'll give you an idea about us lawyers. So theoretically, let's say if my firm is because we have more than 24 employees, like we have to adapt or to we have to be to comply with the Bill 96 in like next year. So if there is any doubt or complaint that we infringed or we violated the Bill 96, yes, any agent, any investigator from the OQLF, the Quebec office, the regulatory body, he can come and seize my laptop, and he can see all all the client privilege information that I have, and I cannot even say no. So this is really very dangerous, and there are more aspects also that affected the judicial system in Quebec.
I'm going to, just because we're almost out of time, and I want to squeeze in, if there's a notwithstanding clause, is there an ability to challenge it legally? What's happening?
Sure, it will be struck down completely.
So what's the path of challenge going to be?
Well, actually, the challenge that is filed now, it's based on sections that are not subject to the notwithstanding clause. We're talking about the equality or the right to use the judicial system in English or French, not in both. We're talking about Section 133 of the 1867 Canada Constitution. We're talking about the Section 23 of the Canadian Charter of Rights, which also gives the right to the English the minorities to manage their own educational system. So these two sections specifically, they're not subject to the notwithstanding clause.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I did want to ask other questions, but thank you for joining us, for giving us this brief glimpse.
Thank you for having me, and I wish you a good day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for watching Canadian Muslim News. If you like what we do, please share, like, and subscribe. Stay safe, and God bless.